In this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how I generated over 800 leads for our client at a cost per lead of £7.46 on Facebook ads. I'm going to be showing you step by step our competitor and customer research process, our in-platform campaign builds, and our back-end sales process to turn these leads into paying customers. So, for context, our client is an installer of windows and doors. Focusing mainly on residential, they rely on a heavy influx of leads for their sales team. Traditional marketing methods just weren't working and they were continuously being outbid on Google. After a few months running, they encountered one of our case studies and decided to reach out for some help. So in this video, I'm going to be covering the exact competitor research process, the campaign build inside of Meta, and the back-end sales process to ensure our leads are both high quality and high converting. So what exactly did we do? First of all, we analysed what the market was already doing to know what were the pros and cons of this approach. Next, we collected all of our ICP's doubts and reservations through our AI extraction process. Then we built and framed an offer and narrative to attract this particular audience. We then implemented our creative testing strategy and stayed out of our own way, which is a key point in this video you'll start to encounter. So as you can see over on Meta, we have 853 Facebook leads at a cost per result of £7.46. We've spent just over £6,000 this account. So I want to talk you briefly through the campaign build and how the last point, staying out of our own way, is really critical. So we open up the campaign, we can see we have a very bog standard campaign with a native form on Facebook. CBO is not turned on. Over in the leads ad set, we can see here, this is where the magic or not magic happens. Very simple, page selected, no cost per result goal, no dynamic creative. Our budget and schedule is simply £10 a day daily budget. No end date, no budget scheduling, absolutely nothing. We have a simple age range here, 23 to 65 plus. Then we have locations, 80 kilometers around their target audience. And that is absolutely it. We have advantage placements turned on, but we have no selection, no real detailed targeting, no interest, no lookalikes, no customer lists. We kept this absolutely broad. The one thing to mention with the age is we do like to include age locators and definers, but one thing is to make sure these aren't too narrow. A lot of people's date of birth on Facebook isn't actually correct when they sign up for an account. A large proportion of the audience is that. We see, let's say we're testing a campaign for 30 to 35 year olds. If we open that up to 20 to 40 year olds, we see much better result of our actual 30-year-old audience as opposed to actually now running that down on platform. So all that's left now is to go through to the ads. If we open up the ads here, we can see that one ad in particular has took the majority of spend. Now here's the conversation we get into around creative fatigue. A lot of advertisers and a lot of agencies will tell you that you need to be continually testing new creatives all the time. Yes, that can be true as you scale up budget, but this particular client was happy with the influx of leads that we do bring in for them. So if you have your total addressable market in your catchment area, and that is large enough to withstand a very small budget, such as £10 per day, you can have creatives that have a lifespan of over multiple years. This particular account, as you can see, has 4 creatives and they all bring in results from £6 to £10 per lead on Facebook. And we know the back-end nurture process that we've installed is really high converting and we know our target audience well. This does not mean we need to break the mold and break what's already working. We can continue with the ads that we do see. So what exactly are the creatives that we focus on? We go to the top ad over here. We have a very simple before and after picture of some work our clients carried out. Our copy is even simpler. Are you looking to transform your home this summer? Our beautiful bifold doors are the perfect solution for your needs. Then we list 4 USPs, flexible payment options, 10-year complete guarantee, 5-star work with as low as a 1-week lead time. So from our research and our USPs and our pain points, we saw that flexible payment was really critical in this industry, as you can aware, as it's very high ticket. The complete guarantee on work was an absolute must-have with the USPs. Then we have 5-star rated work as a bonus, and then as low as a 1-week lead time. These aren't just thrown in willy-nilly. We know that this copy is in order of priority for our target audience and what they need to see prior to signing up for a quote. Lead time wasn't too critical within the ad that we saw. It was an extra bonus that a few people had raised an issue around. Yet looking at our sales calls, flexible payment options was the number 1 question leads asked and the guarantee was a second. Ensuring that you track the objections on sales calls is critical, and you can start to address that in order of priority in your ad copy. Advertising is a constantly ever-changing thing, and you can't just set and forget. As much as you only see 4 ads here, there is a lot of work that goes into the back end on the data and research to make sure that these ads can be as simple as possible. Doing the work pre-planning on Facebook is key to make sure you're not continuously changing every day and suffering from bad results and creative fatigue. Having ads that are set up to your ICP that address all their pain points and show off your USPs can ensure for really smooth sailing. Now, as I'm sure you're pretty surprised at, that is exactly our front-end meta process in its entirety. We have recently started to take on Google and are scaling that up, but this video isn't really about Google. We can touch that at a later point. Now it's time to explain how the back end looks and really where the magic comes from. When we think of paid social advertising or meta advertising, it's important to bring it back to its simplest form, that it is simply just eyeballs on your product or service. It's making sure you have a really high converting back end to bring that traffic through from, which is critical for your advertising, and why the majority of people we see that we take on as clients struggle with. It's not a front end problem, it's a data, market research and conversion problem on the back end. The way we see it here at Croft Advertising is there are 2 key approaches you can take. Number 1 is a really complex front end, sending users to a landing page, having multiple steps and qualifying questions. Yes, this absolutely does work. The only issue is this greatly increases the cost per lead. But on the other hand, it allows for a really high quality and often much greater show up rate and close rate within those leads. But option 1 is definitely a preferred method once you've built up enough cash collected from, say, option 2 to move into option 1 and greatly reduce the time and labour spent on your sales process. But number 2 is our low budget avenue. We have a frictionless, short lead capture process. The downside, of course, with this is that when it's not executed properly, leads will be unqualified and the contact rate is low, and the lead has a high potential to be a tire kicker, which we do see. So with these 2 different processes, there's different back ends to each. But if we take option 2, for example, the low budget, these are the 2 different options you can run with. Without any back end qualifying criteria, we see this diagram here. We have a lead arrived and they can either be straightly contacted by the sales team, or it can be a straight loss and followed up with a few times. The way that we like to run things to ensure the lead has a maximum chance of converting as a paying customer on the back end, we implement a flow similar to this. So the lead arrives straight away, instantly through AI automation. A lead gets sent to sales via email and SMS. That lead is then automatically added to a lead tracking sheet. Then in the flow, the lead receives a confirmation SMS, and then the lead also then receives a thank you for booking email that has case studies on this. In the questions that you ask on your native form on Facebook, try to ask some qualifying questions to narrow down what type of service. Let's say if they're looking for a boiler installation, if you ask a question around your preferred boiler, you can tailor case studies to that preferred brand of boiler in your email flows to make it even more relevant and even more converting. Now is for when the sales team contact the leads. Ensuring your contact rate and contact speed is really quick is absolutely vital with Facebook. The majority of people, if you sat them down and asked them how many ads or what ads did you see today on Facebook, they will not be able to give you a clear answer of any ads or even Facebook posts they've seen that day. So why as advertisers do we expect a lead to remember our product or service towards the end of the day? You simply cannot wait hours to contact those leads. Our KPI within this account is to contact the leads within 10 minutes, and they do have a great internal team that can handle that. So straight away when the leads arrived, they get hit with a confirmation SMS and a thank you for booking email. They've already had 2 touch points on 2 different platforms here to warm them up with a case study. So when the sales team reaches out for that contact, they're very warm. Now that they know the products or service, they've seen the ads, seen the thank you for booking email with case studies on, now they can simply have a higher chance of closing that lead. Let's say the first contact attempt is unsuccessful, they then go into an email flow of a series of 4. That could be again another case study, that could be discussing different objections, then we can have some testimonial work, And then again, we can have a last chance. Maybe you introduce a small offer there, a 10% off, or different offer framing around that to just collect more converting leads through. Then again, we finally come to lead lost. So if we look at the two different processes, we can see in yellow the customer contacts. As opposed to having 0 contacts apart from the actual sales team, we've now implemented 7 more chances for a lead to convert and see your service. So if you do run the small budget option on Facebook leads and you go with that native form, you need to make sure you've got a clear back end to make the most out of that advertising. Moving down to speed to lead, and again, just touching on how critical this is with some data. One of our clients' KPIs was that a sales team contact all leads within 10 minutes. Their contact rate was 87%. They closed over 28% of their leads. Not just qualified leads, 28% of every single lead they generated. Now, alternatively, I had a client that I onboarded a few years ago, quite a while back now, that had 1 sales exec. The fault on my part, I didn't explicitly mention about the speed to lead concept. But what he was doing was he'd group all the leads that we generate every day into a pile and then wait until the end of the day around 4 p.m. to contact him, as it was easier than going back and forth out of what he was doing to prospect and find new cold people. He complained non-stop that his contact rate was sub 20%. This is so much of a deal breaker now that we will not work with companies that aren't able to contact leads within a few hours. Let's say a lead contacts or signs up for a quote at 8 o'clock in the morning. If they then wait till 4:30, 5 o'clock to get a phone call about that service, they've already forgot, their intent's gone down. You need to remember that Facebook is invasive in nature, and if you're not contacting that lead really, really quickly, you will lose out on contact rate and thus converted leads. And that is pretty much a nice, simple explanation as to how we generated over 800 to 900 leads at a cost per lead of £7.47 on Facebook ads. If you'd like me to do the same for you, click the link in the description and fill out the form. If you're a service-based business that's looking for consistent, high-quality leads at a low cost, get in touch as we can absolutely help you. Thanks for watching.